Hello, viewers. You are welcome to another edition of Interviews with Tiwa Says. Yes, I know it's been a while, but we are back, and how did they say it? Better. I have a special guest in the house, as you can see, and he is venerable. I told him I was going to put that venerable there. It's Venerable Jacob Iroko, and he's a man of God. You already right, that venerable, that you see is heavy. And today we are going to be talking about sex in marriage. It's not Tiwa, don't worry. We are talking holy today. Okay, you're welcome on the show, sir.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you for obliging us.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. Without wasting time, let's talk about sex in marriage. But let me start by premarital sex. What is your take on premarital sex?
All right. There is nothing like premarital sex. It's not supposed to happen. Sex should be in confinement of marriage. Premarital or extramarital sex, by biblical standard, is a sin. There is no need for testing, because a lot of people is like, let me test. What if we are not compatible sexually? So I asked, what if you are not and you have tested each other? So is that how you begin to test a lot of people? Because you want to buy Gary, you eat from every store before you make up your mind to buy one. And what if you are not?
Yes, you do that in the market.
Well, some ladies do that. But if you have tried everybody and they are not sexually compatible with you, but there are some other factors that you see, but the last person you met that is sexually compatible with you or that has the same sex drive with you might not have all those other qualities that are very important in marriage. And is that what you now, okay, sex is what will make me settle for this? Oh. So from the point of the Bible, there's nothing like premarital sex. There's nothing like extramarital sex. Sex should be within the confinement of marriage.
Okay, let me start by, let me say that you said if you are not compatible, how do you know if you are compatible? Look, let me just go away and say, I believe that there's a lot.
Sorry, please, I'm sorry, so that you can understand what I'm not saying that if you are not because there's nothing like compatibility in sex. In fact, in marriage there's nothing like compatibility. It is your choice. It is you having to choose that, okay, I'm staying with this person. I'm going to this person is going to be suitable. The only thing is, let it be suitable for both of us.
Exactly. How do you know the person is suitable?
You make them to be suitable.
How? Oh.
Yes, you work on each other. Patience.
How?
If we're talking about sex now, if there are things you want in your marriage, and some things you want in sex in your marriage, you tell your spouse. You let your spouse know. If he or she needs to learn some things, you teach him or her about it. And if you both you get a sex therapist to talk to you about it, and then you do it. So it's the person that you feel like didn't bring it from heaven.
Exactly. So this thing you are telling me now, you
have to practice it.
Do you do that? No. Relax, venerable.
I'm just relaxed.
Do you do that at the point of before getting married? Because what we see these days, in the church, in quotes, is that, okay, because of, you said there's no premarital sex, but because of this premarital sex, leave the bed undefiled and all that, so there are so many rules, like, okay, you cannot hold, you cannot touch, you cannot hug, you cannot 10 feet apart, you cannot go to each other's houses, you cannot do this and all that. And because of the society that we live in, because, there is this pressure from society, getting married, the society has structured people's lives for them in a way, like, okay, when you are born, you go to school, after school, you marry, once a woman is 23, 24, where is okay, so there's that pressure. And then even on the guy, okay, you're working, I was remaining, and all that. So there's a kind of pressure on both sexes, but especially on the woman. Okay, so, and then that is why you see that they say they go to church to find wife. You go to church, you are looking for wife. So they say the good women are in church, although I don't think this is so these days. But they say the good women are in church. they are in the choir, they are in the this, so the men are going there to fish. And then the women know that, okay, the men are coming to fish, so I do like you want me to do. I behave the way it is expected, that I know what you're looking for, and then I put myself in that hole, that, okay, this is what you're looking for. You're looking for a prayerful woman, a woman who covers hair, a man this, and then the man too, like, okay, she's looking for a spiritual husband, somebody who does this and somebody who does, and then there's don't touch, and then we have heard stories of people getting married, and then you now discover that in some cases you discover that the man is impotent. Something cannot even rise. 1, 2, you discover that the woman, maybe she now begins to show her true colors or something like that, or you discover that, we've heard of a case, this was actually happened, a case of a woman, it was on the wedding night that the husband found out that she has only one breast. Stuff like that. That's deceit, you not being impotent, or even having impotence is even different. Impotence is the fact that, okay, you can't impregnate a woman, but the fact that your something cannot even stand up in the first place. But how would she have known that your something will stand up? Because you are not supposed to. So you don't even know if you can have her done. You will now come night that you ask, oh yeah, I've obeyed Jesus. Today we have sign ring. We are going to finish ourselves. Lower the well, nothing will rise. Yeah? So how do you, and then in situation when you now get to church, they will now be telling you, it is well, pray, because I'm sorry to.
No, I get it. Yeah, so, I'm trying to. I love the way you are putting the foundation so that I'll be able to.
So when you now, I believe that if the church is, if they are going to be setting these rules, then they should also have the answers when problems come up. When somebody comes to me and say, my husband, he can't even get it up. How do I do? He says, what do we do? Go and pray. Or, somebody says, you can't have children. Yeah, you deceive this person. This person also, or the person that had one breast now. How is that one supposed to be? Or let's not even get to some of the nitty gritty. We now come together. You now tell me that, I don't like sex. There are people like that. They don't even like sex. But you didn't tell this person you don't like sex. And because it was comfortable for you, because, no premarital sex, no touching, so you went along with it. And okay, now, some people, I've heard of cases of people, 3 months, 6 months, they've been married, they've not consummated the marriage because the partner doesn't like sex. Or the partner say, never, I can never touch, or I can never perform oral sex for you. And then maybe I like oral sex. But you say never, I can never. And then we've also heard cases of women who like sex, they are into this, blah, 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 and then they get into the marriage and the man is in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, like chicken. And they come up, and then the woman is not satisfied because, and maybe she's even coming from a place of, she knows stuff, or maybe she didn't enter the relationship as a virgin, or even as a virgin. There are even some virgins who are even more knowledgeable than people, because you read, there are a lot of people who, they went into marriage as virgins, but they know a lot because they read and, they are experimental and all that. So they were able to come. But then you now meet someone who is not matching that energy. So how do you solve all this?
Thank you very much. In fact, thank you for all. So just the way I gave you the opportunity to give me all the analogy and everything, you give me the opportunity to arrange it step by step.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you very much. Let me start like this. Though it's related, but not really on sex now. When the Pharisees came to meet Jesus Christ in Matthew chapter 19, and they asked him that, can we divorce our women for any reason? He said, for any reason. And in fact, before Jesus Christ answered, he said, because Moses has given us the rule that if we can file for divorce, as in have a letter of divorcement, then present it to her, then we are good to go. But when Jesus Christ wanted to answer, he didn't start with answering them yes or no. He said, I love the way he answered. He said, from the beginning, it was not so. Which means that we wouldn't have been discussing about divorce if you have gotten it right from the beginning. And that is the point I want to use in answering your question. You see, if they have gotten it right from the beginning, they won't be having the issue of whether he can raise it or whether he cannot raise it, whether she has one breast or not. It is because they did not get it right from the beginning. You can't come into the church for the sole purpose of wanting to just get caught as a lady, or as a guy, you just want to come and catch fish because you believe that the best fish is in the church. In your language, the fish now. So, if you have with that purpose, you will catch the wrong fish. And it is not God's fault. It is not the fault of the church. If you as a lady too, you'll be caught by the wrong fisherman. It is not the fault of the church. It's not the fault of God. It is because you did not do it following the principles that the God has laid down for the institution of marriage. You need to follow the right step. You need to do things the way it has to be done. If you actually waited on God, you cannot make mistake when it comes to the issue of marriage. I'm not saying that you should receive. I'm not an advocate of receiving. I'm not saying that you should dream. I'm not saying you should dream. I'm not saying that you should have vision. But when you do it the right way, as in you follow the right steps and everything, you cannot make mistakes. I can guarantee you that you cannot make mistakes in the issue of marriage when you follow God principles. There are criteria, there are steps, there are things you need to do that you need to understand if you have to get married. Marriage is an institution that God himself created it, and it is for a purpose. I'll be talking about that later. Now, like you said that the rules, yes, the church really made an error, committed errors in setting rules. Because even if God himself could deviate from the point of law and give us grace, we should understand that law cannot do it. So setting rules, having to say you cannot do, these are the things you have to meet. For some people, they will say discipler and disciple. Some people, they will say you have to meet the marriage committee. It depends on different churches and different things and everything. So those rules, they are man-made rules. And there is no rules or errors that is made by man that will not, rules or laws that are made by man that will not have errors. There is no way. That is why we have amendment of constitution over and over. Because when you do it, you now discover that there is a lacuna here. There is an opening here. Let's change this law to meet up with this. Then you discover after practicing it, after some time you discover. So, and that is the reason why in fact, one of the general overseer of one of the popular church, I don't want to mention them, I had to come out after a long time of following this thing. I had to come out some few years ago and said, he's the one that created all these rules. He's going to Dabaru.
Exactly.
Bring all those rules because they are man-made rules. And people will put in their own selfish agenda into those rules, and those rules will cause a lot of errors. Makes people to commit a lot of errors. And so for me, when it comes to the issue of rules, I have made such. I pastored a church, and the moment I got to that church, there was a marriage online, as in they were preparing to get, a couple is preparing to get married, and as at that time, the lady was pregnant. Okay. And I was furious because I was charged up with the rules, the man-made rules, and I was very furious. And I went to I mount the pulpit one of those days, and I mentioned it. This is because this marriage is on pipeline before I got here. If not, this one. And I said, okay, this paparazzi and so are not going to be part of the wedding ceremony. Then I also made mention that henceforth, if you are pregnant, I will not join you together. I was still very young. I was so hard on some things. And I discovered that nobody was coming for a wedding. Then a lady, I spent like a year or two in the church. A lady that was a bit closer to me I didn't see her in church for some time, for like 2 weeks or so. And I asked her, what happened? She was sick. I said, why didn't you tell me? I would have come to check you. It's not that kind of sickness that she want me to come and check her. I'm like, okay. But I felt, so I was probably, what's the diagnosis? What happened? He said, it's malaria. I said, malaria, what is in malaria that you now said I cannot come? I was just pushing this thing. Then I felt maybe she felt some level of guilt in her that, she need to tell me. And she now said, if she open up to me, hope I won't be hungry. I'm not hungry. I said, in natural fact, she was pregnant and she aborted it.
Hey, wait, she have even abort.
I cried.
Wow.
I broke down and I cried. And I said, I killed an innocent child because of my laws and rules and things. Same me, mount the pulpit next Sunday and tell people, if you are pregnant, drink it. Don't abort it. I will do right wedding for you. I will consummate that way inside this church. I'll do for you. Because those are the errors that man-made rules can bring in. So when it comes to the rules, the part of the rules, I don't subscribe to it. Yes, there are limitations. There are things you cannot do. But there are level of teaching you must give to your congregation to the extent that they know. It becomes a lifestyle. Like I said, Christianity is a lifestyle. It becomes a lifestyle to them that we can't go to this. We can't do this. We can't get to this extent. If we must be in a place that, if I'm easily tempted with this thing, then I must put in some boundaries. Yeah. Yes, thank you. Some boundaries that will make me and this person not to get ourselves involved in sexual sin, premarital sex, as you will call it. So those things is a matter of teaching and helping them to understand. Okay. So it's not by rules. Then all the other ones, important. Another thing that the church needs to do is we should lay emphasis on counseling. And it's not all pastors that are called to counsel for marriage. We just the same way Bible says that there are fivefold ministries. We have the evangelist, the pastor, the apostle, the teacher, and the prophet. So even in the teaching ministry, which the counseling really is, there are ways, there are understandings you must have when it comes to marital counseling, especially premarital counseling. Then it is something that shouldn't be done occasionally. It's something that has to be put in a curriculum for the children, for the church members, so that they know, they understand things. There are things that they need to understand. Sex is biblical. Mm-hmm. Sex is created by God. So they need to understand, they need to know. You see, they're running away from talking about sex in church because we always consider it as being too hard.
Taboo, yeah.
It makes a lot of people to make mistakes when it comes to the issue of sex. Mm-hmm. But when we talk about it, and we talk about it the right way it should be, and what should be, then you see that everybody will understand that, okay, I have this, I need to talk, I need to voice out. A lot of people cannot talk because they feel like the church will look down on them or the society will look down on them. So, but if they've gotten the confidence that, look, I can go to my pastor and talk to my pastor about this and this is what I'm going through. It will be easier for your pastor to help you out if he's not trying to make you actually, because there are a lot of pastors nowadays. So it will be easier for the person to help you out, take you through some stages. If you need medical attention, then they will, before you go into that marriage. If there is any reason for you to, you must be able to come out. Like a pastor friend of mine gave me a testimony of a lady that was into prostitution. And because she wanted to go into prostitution, she lost her parents and she became the breadwinner for her siblings. She has 2 younger brothers and she wanted to train them to school. So she went into prostitution to train those guys into school. In order to so that she has to go and remove her womb, so that she will not get pregnant along the line. She doesn't want to make any mistake.
She doesn't want to have children later.
So, along the line, she got born again. She started the church, and her mind is set, she's not getting married. She's just going to be herself. She knows what she has done. And then this young brother came to meet her and said, "You're my wife." I said, "No, it can't be possible. God cannot be telling you this."
Yeah,
he said, "I know you are my wife." And the man was so adamant. She later has to confess to the young man that, "Look, this is who I was, and this is what I have done." And the man said, "Yes, I know that you are a prostitute." Mm-hmm. I know. And so, but this is God saying to me that you are my wife. And the man, don't you hear what I said? I said, "I cannot." I said, "I'm not marrying you because of baby. Mm-hmm. I just want to marry you."
That one is real.
And then they got married. And surprisingly, after a few years into their marriage, this woman got pregnant.
Oh, no.
Miracle.
Hey,
no, they tired Jesus. And she gave birth, as of now, she has given birth to 4 kids.
Without womb.
I'm telling you, there is nothing God cannot. You are reasoning God with your human understanding.
Where did the children grow? Even 1. 4. Or she now went back to the hospital. Now told her, actually, we didn't remove your womb. It's there.
No. So she gave birth. It is if you have allowed if you have actually, is it not God that created the womb?
It is.
Who told you cannot do something with it? We cannot limit God by our own exposure, by our experiences, by our academics,
I
understanding.
understand, but then if somebody else go and try that now, it will not work. So
No,
why is it that it
what
will
I'm
work
saying,
for some people and it will not work for some
it
people?
depends on what God's will for us and how we have taken it. That other person that wants to try that is trying to try God. Just leave it.
No, like somebody else in that kind of situation.
Just leave it. Tell God, though I desire to have kids, but it's your will be done. And if the will of God is you will have, it surely will. And if the will of God is stay the way you are, I have some other plans for you, then submit yourself to the will of God. So, and what I'm trying to say is, the reason why we have so many of this attack on the church is because the church made some errors in trying to play the role of the Holy Spirit.
Exactly.
Made some errors, and because of that, there are a lot of bad blows nowadays, especially with this Gen Z. They have a lot of information in their hands. They are exposed to so many things. What we don't ask our parents in our own days, they are the things they will just ask you why, and I will begin to wonder.
Exactly. Look in the eye.
I can't try it with my dad.
You can't. Hey?
You're telling me why? But so, and that causes, and when you just set rules and you don't give them explanations, they ask you why and you cannot give them the why, they just begin to say that church is a scam. But church is not a scam. It is because some of us are so rigid that we don't want to understand that the season has changed, the time has changed. I was telling those, there are some ladies that are staying with me, I was telling them that all of you were not born when Babangida, Abacha, when military were on this thing. So that is the reason why you can be doing, having all this entitlement mentality. I said, in our days, when I was young, I would see army beat people on the road like this. So some fear is already calibrated into my brain. So I know that I cannot misbehave. But in fact, you can abuse Mr. President. Nobody will do anything on social media. You will call Mr. President anything you want to call him. You will call the governor house. You say anything you want to say. Nobody is coming to pick you. In our days, those people that will say anything, even though there was no social media, in the tabloid, they will put those things, they will run away. Before the tabloid comes out, they are already in Benin Republic.
Exactly.
Because if they are not in Benin Republic, so, you see, and that is the reason why the church needs to change its formula. We need to talk about sex. We need to talk about it the way it has to be talked about. Where I was driving at is, if you, for example, I'm a marriage counselor, if you come from my premarital counseling stuff, part of the thing that we discuss is sex. And we'll talk, and I'll tell you, when you get to that part, we are going to talk about it raw. I'm not going to put anything, I'm not going to hide anything, I'm not going to tell you, we're going to talk about it, things I cannot see on the screen, but we'll talk about it the way it is, how you can do it. And I'll ask them, are you sexually active? Have you been doing it before? Even if it is not between the two of you, have you had this experience before? So I will know from where I'm going. If both of them are greenhorns, then I know, okay, this is the way you start. I'll give them every available knowledge that I have and that I've studied, that I've read about, and let them know this is how you do it. This is how satisfaction comes. This is where you need to touch. This is what you need to do. These are the words you need to say. And those things are, in those days, they sound dirty in church, but they are not dirty.
They are not.
As long as they are within the confinement of marriage.
Okay, so I want to ask this question.
Yes.
Is it really in the Bible that they should not marry before, they should not have sex before marriage? Because in the Bible, there are a few cases, there are some cases there that they sample this thing before they marry.
What is marriage? That is what we should first of all understand.
Well, what's marriage?
Most people,
joining.
That is where we make the mistakes. Most people always consider the wedding ceremony as the marriage. Most people consider marriage is established when both parties put their consent and both parents put their consent, and there is an exchange of gifts. In Genesis chapter 24, when the man, Abraham's servant, went to look for in fact, Isaac was not even there. But because he has given his consent ahead, they asked the Laban and this and asked, let's ask Rebecca, will she go with this man? And she said, yes, I will. Okay. And then he brought out the gift and exchanged it. Marriage has been established. There was no ceremony. He took the lady, and when she met Isaac by the well of Laharoi, they looked at each other. She veiled herself.
And he took her into the room straight.
And then Bible says, took her into the tent, her mother's tent.
What is that word? To comfort himself. And when they took I say, well done.
And Isaac was comforted after
exactly.
This
so you're telling me that there was a marriage before that? Because that's one of my examples. There was no marriage before that.
That was marriage. Marriage has occurred.
Okay, so in this part of the world now, if you say you have done introduction, you have married, Abby.
If the both parents has put consent and there is an exchange of gift, what is most important? The consent of the parents and the exchange of gift, which we now call dowries or bride price. If that has been done, every other thing, church registry is just for you to be recognized by the law.
By the law.
Then the church we just introduce it from, that is why we call it white wedding, because it's not our tradition. It's this thing. The moment the consent, do you know that because the consent has been given for Joseph and Mary to betroth, they said Mary has been betrothed to Joseph. They've not had the ceremony, but because the marriage has been established by the consent of their parents and the exchange of gift has already been done, that was why when Joseph came out and said, the pregnancy is mine, nobody stoned Mary.
Well, they couldn't have stoned her now because she was betrothed to him.
That is what I'm saying, because
marriage has already occurred. They are not done marriage.
Because that is what I'm telling you, marriage has already occurred. What you are taking as marriage is ceremony. A lot of people will not have that ceremony.
But then, so why are they shouting premarital? Because some people who have been betrothed, I don't know what that word entails here, but then they've not done the ceremony, but then you know that, okay, this person is marrying this person, okay, parents know, consent, blah, blah, blah.
It's not just knowing, there must be official consent stuff given.
You have put official there now.
No, that's what I'm saying now.
Which is the official now?
Hey, official. That's why I'm saying that from the day they got introduced to, as in this parents got introduced, and you bring something, you exchange gift. Even if you have not gone to the church, you have not gone to the court, you are married.
Because that is our own, what we recognize as marriage.
That is why I say that.
Before they now brought church wedding and legal.
So all these other ones are just, even there is no, in fact, in case of Adam and Eve,
there was no marriage.
There was no wedding.
There was no marriage.
There was marriage.
Because was the marriage?
Because God is their parent and he has put consent. And for this cause shall a man, he is the one that said it. For this cause shall a man leave his father and his mother and shall be joined unto his wife, and the two of them shall become one and no longer two. God is the one that joined them.
When did he say that one? After?
In Genesis chapter 2.
But that was after now. When?
No. When he created Eve, and Adam said, wow, this is the bone of my bone and the flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman. And then God said, for this reason shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall be cleaved unto his wife, and the two of them shall become one.
So at that point now, God did the marriage. Oh, wow.
No ceremony. What we are looking for, what blindfolded us is the ceremony. Is the Ashobi, you Yoruba people,
okay, like but then if the marriage was consummated at that point, because in my own understanding, well, it's normal because man, woman, but then the Bible said helpmates. If marriage was consummated at that point,
they were not helpmate.
She was a helpmate to
Mate
him.
for him. Yes.
Yeah. So if marriage was consummated at that point, why was it that it was not until they left the Garden of Eden that they started, reproducing and all that? Why did they not have children inside the Garden of Eden?
Well, is it everybody that get married that have children in the first year?
Which explanation is that one?
The reason
I know I said that to explanation.
The reason is, you are just assuming that they were not having anything. Who told you that they were not having anything?
They were not having. Why is it that?
Who told you that they were not having?
Okay, by
Is it because when we get to Genesis chapter 4, and I said, and Adam knew his wife? You think that he had been knowing his wife?
No. Because
it is the knowing that produced Cain
when
that was recorded. The knowing that did not produce any.
No, if they were really doing something, if they were really know each other in the Garden of Eden, they would have produced something. Because when God came in the evening after they had eaten apple, which is now supposedly the something after they had done,
is fruit.
Oh. Funny enough, how did it become apple? How did the fruit become apple?
All right, I think it's something that from translation. When the Hebrew word that was translated into fruit, when it was being translated into Greek and Latin, those people that were doing the translations used the word apple. And but the same word that was used for apple is the same word that also used for fruit.
For fruit. Okay, that's
so
why.
So these translations make people to now, and then those artists, Michelangelo and all those things, when they were now drawing apple, it just sticks into our brain.
Yeah, that it's apple. It's okay.
Apple. Why? Just the same way people will believe that Adam was not there when the serpent was talking to.
Oh, you believe he was there?
Huh? Genesis chapter 2 verse 6
Excuse me, my DOP is looking at me right now, and I always tell him that Adam was cuckoo there when they gave Eve apple, but he's always arguing with me that he was not there. He was not there.
He was there.
He was there, and he ate apple.
Genesis chapter 2 verse 6, and Bible says that, and she gave to
her husband who was with her. So please, if you don't take anything away from this video today, please know that he was there.
The problem is the Sunday school teaching. Just the way we were in primary school, they will teach us that they want to teach us to comprehend things.
They just want to put everything on the woman, that the man was not there.
They just want to make us comprehend things. And so, in order to break it down, sometimes they will remove the content.
They remove, yes.
So, when we were in primary school, they will teach us that 2 minus 3, we will say, impossible! I said, what will you now do? You go and borrow one here, and put it, and when it comes, it becomes 12. 12 minus, you count. By the time we move from the arithmetics to mathematics, and then we begin to understand that 2 minus 3 is minus 1. We will not shout impossible again. So that is the same way. But the problem is when they were moving from Sunday school, from children's church, Sunday school stuff, to the adult church, they were not introduced to the real mathematics. So we still carry the arithmetics knowledge of he was not there.
Okay, so he was there. So what I was trying to say is that why is it that it was after they ate the fruit that they now realized that they were naked? If indeed they had been, what's that, meeting, what was the word we used again? If they had been seeing each other that way, it will be, I don't believe that they will now be realizing that they are naked, or they will be running away from God or something like that. So I believe that if there was really a knowing that time, they ought to have had children in the Garden of Eden.
They knew.
Because another thing, it was when God sent them out of the Garden of Eden, and he caused the woman, that delivery, blah, 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 that in pain she will deliver, and in pain she will bring forth, and all that. So I want to believe that, okay, part of the chasing is that, okay,
you go and be having sex now.
Why? You can run.
All right. Let's look at it from the beginning. When Bible was giving account of creation story in Genesis chapter 1, he said that God created, he's looking for the Genesis chapter 2 verse 6.
You will not find it.
Okay. So, Bible says that when God created, I said, and he blessed them. And he has them to produce, multiply. How do you want them to multiply? What happens if they don't eat the fruits?
The animals were multiplying.
How?
I don't know, but the animals were multiplying. It's a human being.
They were mating. So, then another thing that you said that they were not, Genesis chapter 2 says that, the last verse of Genesis chapter 2 says that, and they were both naked and they were not ashamed. Why are they not ashamed? Is it because they don't have knowledge of it? No. It is because it has not come to their consciousness of the knowledge of good and evil. They've not been able to see it in the sense of good and evil.
Okay.
So, but anytime, the moment they hate the fruits, and then it comes to their consciousness that, there must be something that is evil. There's something that they begin to look at themselves and they say, oh, we are naked and we are ashamed of
That's
ourselves.
another thing, Steph. How do you know? Because it's not like there were other human beings, which is also in question. It's not like there were other human beings for you to know that, okay, you are even supposed to be clothed. Why do you even think that you're supposed to be clothed if there's nothing to compare with? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So if there were no other human beings to compare that, these ones are wearing clothes. Why are we not wearing clothes? We are supposed to be wearing clothes and all that kind of. So what brought about the nakedness? Why do you feel like, okay, you're naked, okay? Why is it a thing? Why do you think that nakedness is bad? And that's how it started from that nakedness. That nakedness is bad.
Actually, if you have to look at it, Bible cannot be translated just on the surface of it. And it's not just the nakedness. What we are looking at, there are a lot of Bible scholars that said eating the fruit is allegories. Is that it's not the main thing that happens, but it's just talking about disobedience. But God, Moses that gave the record, God did not want him to give details of this is the action they took or that makes it. So the action of fruit was just a kind of allegories to just mirror what God wants to say is they are disobedient and they disobeyed, don't do this and they did it. That's just it. But so also the issue of nakedness, because now they now feel ashamed without having to. But if you look at people, when you have a secret, you keep something away from your spouse before you get married, and you didn't tell him or her. The day that the person, even though you know, people around you, some people might know, because it's being kept away from the person that you don't want him or her to know, you still feel some level of confidence. But the day the thing just, you know the way you will feel, the way, or if you have a mind like, or somebody just told that, this guy don't know, or this lady don't know, the kind of feelings that comes over you. So I felt like the nakedness is about revealing something. Yes, that is about the revelations that makes them to feel like, wow. So we have this enormous energy and we need to, and things, there are so many scholars that gives different approach to it. But for me, I don't want to just take to anything. I just want to understand that they disobey and now they saw the consequences of their disobedience and they felt like, oh, how can we find a way around it like we normally do now? You do something that is wrong rather than having to, like, for example, I'm a pastor. If I sleep with my church member and nobody knows, I'll find a way of covering it. If the girl get pregnant, covering it, I'll commit more sin. Yeah. I'll just say, let's go and abort it. It's just to cover it up. So rather than coming out and tell the church, I made a mistake. I failed. I missed it. I need to go on a journey, as in personal things with God, to go and get myself back on track and things like that, and confess my sin so that God can forgive me and then get myself restored back to God. I'd rather find a way of covering it. That's what they did.
Imagine if pastors these days want to start doing that one you're saying. There will be no church on Sunday.
It is because, the reason why there will be no church is because we make everybody see us like as if we are gods, we are angels, human. Like we are not human, we are superhuman. And so because of that, and I tell people, what do you call us? MOG, man of God. It's not God of man.
You are man.
We are man before that of God. So there are sometimes we might make that mistake. Own up. Be responsible. Don't act like Adam and say, the woman you gave me.
Exactly.
Just own up. Just say, okay, I made this mistake. I am sorry. The only thing is, don't come back again and tell me you are sorry on the same thing. Sorry. On the same thing. You've made this. You are sorry, and you are able to learn your lesson, and then you move from there. And you are still able to stand and then, I forgive you. If I'm being pastored by any pastor and he's sincere enough to come out to tell me, I have made this mistake, I will respect him. Yeah. Because it takes a lot of energy for somebody to come out and say that than for the person to hide it.
Yes, that's true.
So if we don't begin to make people feel like we are perfect, we can do it, we know it all, it will be easier when you come out and you tell and you make mistakes and you move on, and people will still come to church, people will still trust you, people will still be able to say, okay, yes, you made mistakes, but now you have been able to as long as you are not making the same mistake.
As long as
Over and over again.
you don't make it a habit and start making
start making mistake and
I'm a man.
I'm a man. No. I'm saying that it's sincerely you just in a short while, in the moment of this thing, you just weakness, you just missed it. So.
Okay, now I want to ask you, because you said that if somebody receives, like people who are getting married and then they receive the calling from God, or how did you put it? Like if it's God that told them that, okay, this is your wife, God leads you and all that. Are you saying that, so because God does that now, that person that God is leading you to will be perfect? So because God is leading you to now, that means that person is your, how will I put it? It's compatible with you sexually, the person you'll be attracted to, attraction will be there, everything will be there. Is that what you're trying to say? That, okay, as long as God have told you in the dream that, Sister Janet. Once you wake up, Sister Janet is perfect. Sister Janet will want to do all the style you want to do in this world because it's God that say it's Sister Janet.
I didn't say you receive a dream.
Whichever.
Wait. And I didn't say that the person will be perfect. There is nobody that's... Even Jesus Christ said there is no good person except God. So when you are directed, when you are led of God to meet the person, does not mean that the flaws, the human flaws in that person will automatically just... What I said is you will not miss it in marriage. You will not miss it if you are led and you obey the leading of the Lord. You will not miss it in marriage, because what the Lord will help you to do is to understand the prerequisites, things you need to know, things you need to put in place. It is not about the person. Is about the institution. And it's your commitment to that institutions that will make both of you to stay in that marriage. If it is about the person, there is nobody. You will still see some things that are not standing, which will take you some time before both of you will blend together on those things, which also includes sex. The woman might be the one that have high libido stores, and she will need to bring her husband up. Be open to her husband.
How? You are saying this thing. You are saying it like, your libido is low. You need to come up, take bomb with her. It does not work like that. I'm not saying it does not work like that, because you know that. Let me say something. You know that I can tell you for a fact now. This one is data. The leading cause of divorce these days, sex is exactly, and finance. So why? It's not something that should be taken with levity. And then it doesn't mean that, okay, because I'm a Christian, you are a Christian, because God gave me to you, so that means that how do you do these things? Because I've heard so, in fact, and most of these things that I've heard all over the place is usually Christian people that are yes,
they want to pray before we do it.
I actually know people like that. I actually know someone like that. They are not together anymore, but then they used to pray before they...
Like I said, it's the wrong information and mentality that they carry.
Why are you calling? You don't leave God, where you are calling to... Okay, what does he want to come and do here now?
To come and help them. Some people will be like, please, this thing that we want to do, Father, forgive us before we do it.
In marriage.
Yes, but the drive will have already... Definitely. When you are praying. So what I want to say is, you are still looking at it as the way, the rules and this thing. I'm saying that the moment you are married, you talk about everything. This thing you need to do and well. Let me teach you some things. And that means that should not make the man feel like, you be a shawo.
Exactly, because
that's why I said that there are level of counseling. I told you that we talk raw when you come for my classes. When it comes to that stage, we talk raw, and it's not like you now feel like
exactly.
No. This person is opening up to you, open and honest discussion about sex. This is the way I want it. This is what I want you to do to me. This is where I want you to touch. Even those that have had the experience before, that are just coming and maybe they've not had within themselves, that are just coming in marriage, they still need to talk. The woman still need to let the man know that, look, you need to touch me this place. This is my sensitive part. Some men they just believe that every woman, when you touch the tits of their breast,
exactly, you are
the woman, everybody is different. You need to understand. Some might be the lobes of their head. Don't let me go further. Don't let me go into details of those things. So it depends on, but the woman must talk, and you must not see her as they were both naked. That is my interpretation of they were both naked and were not ashamed. Open up. Tell your man, I want it this way. This is the style that makes me. And if the man too wants, okay, that is your own style, but this is my own style, then both of you understand that when we finish this one, we'll do this one. It's as simple as that. You must be able to talk about it. And if it is the man that is always, tell the madam, we are Christians, or I'm not supposed to go out, and I'm not supposed to have second wife. So in that case, this thing, we must be doing it every day. The woman must begin to condition her mind that the man that I married is an everyday man. So, and sex is a thing of the mind, especially for the ladies.
Yeah.
The man too must understand how to now put her always in the mood, talk dirty, send some dirty stuff to her during the day. Because it's not until when you get to sex for a lady doesn't
It
doesn't start on the bed.
That. Exactly.
It starts even from the morning before you leave home. There are some things you said, you escape lady. You see when we come back. You see, and then you talk. You are married. You are husband and wife. That should not happen outside marriage, but within marriage, you are husband and wife. For goodness sake, do it. Is not a sin. As long as it's within the confinement of marriage, it is not a sin. Discuss it. How do you want it? How far do we need to go? What do you think about oral sex? Oh, this is my understanding. Okay, if both of you can come to a conclusion, because there are some things that are seated in our mind that formed our thoughts, formed by the way we were brought up, the exposure we have, the experiences we had, and all those things. So you might have different, which of course you have different experiences and exposure. Sit down and let the person know, I'm feeling, if you do that one like this, I'm feeling like God is saying, hey. gradually let the person take. You can't just say, feeling. You will just kill the money. But gradually understand that if he or she is going to get out of that into your own, and you have understanding that we can go to this extent, there is nothing wrong with it, it's biblical, it's nothing, and you gradually have to lead your spouse patiently into that stage.
But you see, sorry to cut you, I've heard of a situation of a couple, they, of course, they've been having good experiences, sexual experience, even this oral sex. But this is where church comes in again. One day, this woman went for a crusade. And the man of God started saying, you don't do this, you don't do, the mouth you're using to praise God. And that was the end of it. Because when that woman went home, and the husband like, okay, now normal. The woman was like, no, I'm not doing that again. No, I can't do that. The monitor I'm using to praise God, I can't. And that, day by day, ended their sex life.
It will, actually, because they are not on the same, how will I put it? They are not moving on the same velocity any longer. Yes, I said any longer. In that situation, the conviction that the new conviction of the woman, she should have just discussed it. Don't just say no to the husband. The moment she got some, she said, the church I went to today, they said things like this. And the man of God was able to prove it with this, because there are some things we say.
What are they proving?
No, that's what
it's your own, sometimes it's your own. That's what I'm saying, that there are some things. You're not pushing it on other people.
There are some things we say without, that doesn't have, that we can't prove.
Yes.
We just our morality is what we put into. I remember there was a time that I used a particular belt. I was still very young as a Christian. And so a friend of mine was like, because it has some gold and this thing pork, stuff, like pin-like stuff. I said, I said that belt is, you're not supposed, and you call yourself a brother.
What's wrong with the belt?
And I said, okay, thank you, sir. I was still very young. I was in my 20s. And I said, thank you, sir. But leather and leather. I don't know this one that you are now saying.
What was I God with belts?
So sometimes we bring in our thoughts into.
Yeah.
Growing up too, chewing gum, we consider it to be that if a lady is chewing gum, I share with me. It's just our mindset, just the morality, the societal expectation. And then just to make it, we use religion a lot.
Yes, now.
And just to make it, to stamp that thing, bring it into the religion stuff. So when you put it in religious stuff, and Africans are religious being, we don't, when it comes to religion, we suspend our logic, we suspend our brain.
Exactly.
The moment you just say, God says, we just suspend our brain straight, we don't think. And when that happens, we can easily use religions to capture the mind of people. So in that situation, the woman should have just come back home and said, okay, this is what, and this is my conviction about it. I'm also thinking, and normally, the mistake starts with the man self. Because I used to tell people, you are the first pastor that your house must know. And because the instructions, like we were discussing the other time, the instructions of that God gave, the command, and God commanded the man. You are the one that God's supposed to be commanding in your household. But because we neglected that role, that pastoral role that we're supposed to be taking, we leave it out to pastors like us outside the church. Outside the house, to take that role. We always, and pastors like us, as in pastors, when I mean pastors, I'm not doing that. The pastors now take advantage of that opportunity to just put in their own thought and everything, and then want to make it general stuff. So that is why I said I faulted the man first. He should be the one. They should have been in this thing together. He would have been able to hear that and said, no, don't mind that man. Don't mind.
Exactly.
He would have been able to convince his wife. But even at that now, the woman's supposed to now, because when Paul was saying, Paul never said that woman cannot talk in the church. What Paul was saying in that passage was that when you come to the assemblies of the saints, what is that issue that you want to raise? You must have raised it to your first pastor at home. So that there will be orderliness, which is your husband. So when he cannot answer it, it becomes your family issue now. It's no longer your own issue. It becomes your family issues. Then he will now come and raise it in the church. And then the communion of saints will now look at it and then provide answer. But now, the woman did not discuss that issue for the man to reason it. She just decided to take action. Like Eve too decided to take action, because Eve should have consulted with Adam.
But Adam was with her now.
Yeah, he should have said, oh boy, you dey hear wetin this.
Oh boy, no hear. Oh boy, keep cutting for year. Oh boy was beside there now. So, as the evil saw serpents, oh boy that said, oh yeah, Eve.
Let's not go. I'm giving thoughts to this. Let's also let Eve to take our own thoughts too. So, and when things like that happens and they begin to move apart, the woman's supposed to look at it and talk about it, because God said it. In First Corinthians, when Paul was talking, it was not God. Paul was talking, was advising couple. He said, you should not deny each other sex. He said, even the only reason why you can abstain is when you want to dedicate yourself into fasting and prayer. And say it must not be long.
Women do use that one a lot. We are fasting in our church, 40 days, 30, 50 days.
Paul said it must not be long. And he now went for that in the way. Paul now said that, if you want to, and you see the face of your husband or your wife, listen, he said, cut the fast. Go and consummate with your wife. Make it sharp, because so that you will not, don't let it, you are married and he is burning, you are married, she is burning, and you now want her to understand. Which can understand be that? Oh. So it has to be something that both of them has to discuss. And the time you noticing that this thing is moving, is Ofinosoro relation, like your Bible says.
Exactly.
That man, especially if the fear of God is not so strong in his heart. Rebos Keshandara. Let somebody in his office or environment or anywhere
Just
move waka and the thing is shaking in one way, and this thing he will just forget. You said you want that to kuku no they give me.
Exactly.
And you now see somebody outside that is willing to give and even give more. He's gone. He's a goner. So it is not you. And you know the problem that I now have is if we don't blame God, we'll blame the devil. Just like Adam and Eve did. Adam said, he told God, the woman you gave me. When he talked to the woman, he said, it is not me. The Satan begat me. The serpent begat me. So both of them were not taking responsibility for their action. So don't say, Ishe Ishuni.
It's always Ishuna.
It's not Ishe It's not Ishe. It's not the work of the devil. It is because you did not do what you are supposed to do. The communication you're supposed to have, the talk you're supposed to have, honest discussion you're supposed to have, and let your man say, I can't agree to that. And then he said, okay, since you can't agree, and then if you are not convinced, you go to God and say, God, you created this man,
help me talk
to him. Mm-hmm. Because one thing we don't know is that it is only God that is in the business of making. Mm-hmm. And I will make for him a help meet for him. I will make. It is God that is making. But most times we want to make our partner, our spouse, to fit into what. So when you discover that you cannot, you are trying, you are talking, don't force it. Go to the one that can make. I said, give me this husband. This is what my convictions are. I don't know, maybe you that's what you are saying, but this is my conviction at this moment. Please help me. Is that God will make you or make him?
In a situation where he doesn't do any of the two.
God, he will do something. He will do something. I'm telling you, you just discover that the man will just come back one day and he will get, in fact, his own might even be bigger than yours. And you'll be like, hey, what a mighty God we serve. Or you just discover that maybe you just went to another distance and another preacher is preaching and is now able to now talk on that topic again, and this time around follow another dimensions and convince you that it is not that, and then you come back and say, oh boy, don't mind that other pastor. I have another better information about this situation. We can go ahead with what we are doing. So it's either you will make you or make him.
Okay, so that brings me to my next. It's connected in a way because, Christian marriages, I'm going to say that again. Christian marriages is like I don't know, maybe they feel like because you are a Christian, it's still part of this oral sex, but they feel like because you are a Christian, there are certain things that you can't do, and maybe there are people who in 2025 still believe that sex is for procreation. It's just for the purpose of having children, not for you to. They don't even believe that you should be enjoying it. That enjoying it to the point of even having orgasm. It's a sin. Jesus bo. So why is it? Where did that mindset come from? What is the church doing about it that people will just feel like, as a Christian, church, my sex life should be redundant. Should just be okay. Daddy wa, I just like that. Daddy wa, daddy wa to do what he wants to do like chicken. Okay. He will get up and he go, everybody is happy. They are not enjoying because, like you said, it's God that created sex. And he created it for the purpose of what? For pleasure, not just for procreation. For pleasure. It's something that, if it's something that you are not supposed to do outside of marriage, then it's supposed to be a gift of the marriage. Something you're supposed to be enjoying in it. But then, it's just, I've met a lot of people who say, that there's nothing to this sex, that, there's nothing there. And my understanding is that it's because you've not, experience the full pleasure of it. That is why you are saying that there's nothing there, and all that. So what can actually be done? How can people married, especially Christian couples, see that sex is for pleasure and you're supposed to enjoy it, because when they will not say, and then some will say, maybe their husband broaches a subject or say, you know, that kind of thing that style by that, it's for, so what exactly can be done to change that mindset? Because I can tell you for a fact that people are not enjoying their marriages. They are just enduring. Especially when it comes to sex. They are not really. So what can be done?
It has to be with teachings, actually. It has to be with teaching. When something is, it has taken a lot of time. The orientation has been there. The indoctrination has been there. we've been programmed. It's about orientation. And when we say the church this time around, there's nothing the church can do, because the church, the doctrine issues with the church is the major thing. I don't mean in the days of the Catholic Church. When I say Catholic, I'm not talking about Roman Catholic. I mean, I'm talking about the universal church, when the church is just one, when there was no proliferation of churches, where we don't have Anglican, Methodist, Roman Catholic, Pentecostals, and the Evangelical. And everything.
Why is that? Why do we have so many factions?
That is another question. So, and those doctrines, since we cannot bring them together, there is no way, even as an association, a Christian association of whichever, of Ghana, of Nigeria, or whatever, cannot come together and come say, okay, this is true, this one. The only thing is that we can continue in different conferences that we have, continue to tell ourselves, okay, Pastor, let's deal with this issue. Let's change the orientations about sex in marriage, so that people will begin to have good understanding of what sex is, and let them know that it is pleasurable. Exactly. And God wants them to enjoy the pleasure that is in the sex within marriage. So if that is being done gradually, it can begin to change, and we begin to go back to our churches and begin to teach the right information, give the right informations, and answer the right questions. Then it will be easier for us to now start changing it gradually. It won't be something that will change, because this thing too did not grow, bam. It is over time. This thing that has been, it has been passed like myth over and over.
Yeah.
You don't, and it has been so
yes.
In fact, it is so casted in our mind that to break it, you will need to be patient. You need to you need to expose people to understand it. No, that is not, because there are lots of churches that have put so much this thing on sex.
Yeah, yes.
And then people will always like, let's pray, and they just do it as it's when we want to make babies.
Exactly. So in fact, I'm sure some people say if they find they catch themselves enjoying it, they
might likely feel guilty.
Yeah, exactly.
They likely feel guilty. It's because of what it is. So if we will not let people know that, look, you can enjoy it, it is, and it is not only church. Do you know that the traditions of the Africans too always don't want the woman to enjoy the sex? That is why they do the circumcision of the.
Yes.
Because we feel like if she enjoys it, she will want it to her mother. Yeah. So, but it's a lie. It's a lie. It's a mindset. If we can just get it off our mindset and enjoy that, it's pleasurable. You can enjoy it. Both of you should
enjoy.
You should. In fact, it has more benefit than just giving birth, than just procreating it. It has medical benefits.
Yes, definitely.
It relaxes you, makes you take off stress from you and everything. So lot of things. So, and that is when you enjoy it. Yes, if it is not pleasurable, if it's just in fact, it's much stressful.
It's a waste of time.
It's much stressful than, so I think it's good. And then associations of people, of practitioners, like family life practitioners too, should begin to now introduce sexual talks into their premarital sex counseling and talk about it the way it is. Make them know that you need to enjoy it, because especially because our thought and our expectation is that they both must be greenhorns. That is our expectation. Well, that is not the reality, but that is our expectation. So when we must let them know that, look, this, and that's why I used to tell couples, it is not necessary that night.
Yeah.
After you've danced,
you be tired.
When you are tired, it is not. Go and sleep. The next morning, when you are refreshed, you are not rushing to anywhere. Please, take your time. And this thing is not, and then, take your time. Do it as you're supposed to do it. Which some people want to hear details of it, which I'm not going to tell them. But take your time.
How to do it, it should be part of discussion, because I know a few couples that could not consummate their marriage until 2 weeks or something like that, because I don't know, the thing was just not doing, they kept trying. It wasn't until after 2 weeks, almost a month. Yes. Before, you could actually now, we have entered promised land.
Anxiety can be another one. You'll be like, they are so.
Because you've even heard all sorts of things, the expectations and all that, and then you've heard that is this, you know, so
especially for a woman that she's still a virgin and like it is painful.
Yes.
That is and that is so bad. That will destroy the whole thing for her. So it is very, very important. That's why I said I cannot mention it on the screen like this because there are some people that are watching us that are not married and I don't want to start selling some ideas into their brain. So so I cannot give you this thing. If you want to get married, sit for JI. I'll give you good counseling on it.
Good counseling. Good proper counseling. Okay, this last thing that I want to ask, maybe I should have asked before, but you know, it just came to me now. So what is your own take on cohabiting? Because like you said, when two people have decided that, okay, we are going to be spending the rest of our life together. Okay, yes, I want to marry you, you want to marry me. And, you know, there's already that consent and all that. Is there something wrong with, okay, let's cohabit for a while to see how, you know, we can get along or to, you know, just to get to know each other better? Because we've heard of people who have divorced because of toothpaste. You press toothpaste on there, or somebody, you don't clean toilets, or there are some people, because like me, I have some finicky whatever, you can't be entering bathroom and then there's water on the floor and your leg, you know, and I've heard of people divorcing because of that. You used to wear, you didn't, but you know, different things like that. And there's no way you can get to know those things except, you know, you have stayed with the person for a while, you know, at least cohabit for a while, that okay, this is how this person is. When you use toilet, he doesn't flush. Okay, this is how this one, she doesn't bath in 3 days. She just always use perfume. You know those, and those are the things that are causing divorce every day. Because when you now get to, that's when you now realize that Ashomo is because she was looking for husband that she used to do fine girl. So she will be tying wrapper all around the house. She will not have a bath until 3 days. She will not do hair. You know, those kind of things. These are very, very important. You know,
who says that the person that wants to hurt will not hurt for the number of days that you are cohabiting? If you are cohabiting, if the person still wants to cover up, he will cover up. There are people that are married. In fact, let me tell you, you don't even know yourself until some situation will come up.
Exactly. I agree.
So that I want to know, those things you will know. Those things is just, you see, anything you need. I told us, marriage is intentional. It's not like God cut out somebody. This one is the person I cut out for you. If you do not marry this person, you've missed it in life. No.
I thought there's.
No, what I'm saying is, you are led.
What did they rib? Your rib. You're missing rib.
Marriage works when you work on it. Like the issue of toothpaste that you mentioned. I'll give you an example. My example. I grew up in a family, in those days when we were growing up, there are just two toothpaste, Maclean and Close-Up. I grew up in Close-Up family. My wife grew up in Maclean family. If I don't feel the mint in my mouth, I don't feel like I brushed my teeth. And if my wife, if there is slight mint like this, it will be too pepperish for her. And we both decided that we are not going to have different toothpaste, all those toiletries like that, except for the personal effects of, but our soap, our cream and everything, we want to be using the same thing. I want Close-Up. She wants something in the line of Maclean. I want anything that has pepper, that has mint, that is pepperish. She wants something that is not. So, how are we going to do it like this now? So we both sat down and looked at it. She was like, anytime she put that, because at first, you know, just coming in, I brought him Close-Up. It was because that is why this is. She managed to use it. Then she now changed it to I was like, in fact, we used to call it Minta Jagba Jagba. My house, please. So like, it's tasting like. I'm not feeling like I brushed my teeth. So we have to sit down. Instead of us fighting on it, we have to sit down and said, okay, let's reach a compromise. And we both decided to, I'm not making adverts for this toothpaste. But we both decided to use double mint. Okay. The mint is not as much as that of Close-Up. All these toothpaste, they don't even have mint against it. The mint has come down. That has come down, yes. So the mint is not as much as that of Close-Up. But at least I can still feel the tinkling in my mouth. And then it is not so pepperish for my wife. So we both agreed on that. And after some time, I just discovered that I can be using my mouthwash now. Maybe it's the this thing, pepperish. So I just decided that okay, we can use any toothpaste. But after I finish with this, I will use my mouthwash to gargle, and then I'll still feel the mintful stuff and the peppery stuff in my mouth. So, and that was it. So it's just about you. We don't need to stay together before we come to that agreement. We did not cohabited before we married. So we understood it as time goes. It's just about you bringing those issues to the front and talk about it. This is this. If the person that you are, one thing is this. If you are staying together, there is no way you will not have sex. It will take God's glory and strength and discipline for months, and you do not touch the sister. If it really happened, I will give you.
That's part of knowing too now.
It's not knowing. you know what will happen is the moment that sex started coming in, what you want to know, you will not know. Especially when both of you are doing it right for each other. That was what happened to Jacob. They gave you a woman. You slept with her overnight. And you are telling me that you did not know that it was there. Brother Jacob. Brother Jacob.
Hey.
It is because you slept with her. If you have opened her, it is now in the morning. I said, it is Leo. It is Rachel that I did this to for. It's not Leo. I said, boy. You don't taste them. They carry this one. You go if you want another one. You go do another one.
Exactly. Do another 7 years.
Do another 7 years.
Wow.
So it is for me, and in Christian marriage, cohabiting is not it. You can know each other. You can talk. There are a lot of things. When I was dating my wife, there are a lot of things that we talk about. We just go. I was living in Shomole area. She was living in Akoka. And you know the funniest thing, we were both staying alone. We were not staying with our parents. She had an apartment rented, I have mine. But I would drive down to her house, take her on weekend. Then after we visited this, we might end up in front of Lagoon Front in Unilag. And we just sit down there and talk. Have a heart-to-heart talk. We will sit down at the Lagoon Front and then talk. We raised every issues. Talk about everything, religion. In fact, how we want to bring up our kids, talk about everything. Yes, every time we talk about issues that matters, because
your whole relationship is unique. Because most people don't talk, they don't go that deep.
We talked about. In fact, do you know the funniest thing? There was a day we got to a point that we were just. It wasn't at the Lagoon Front. It was this. What's the name of this bus stop in Paco bus stops. We were trekking. We were just strolling through Paco stops, and we got to a discussion and we said, "What is that thing that I can do to you that will make you not to forgive me?" And we both exchanged those things.
That's really.
And when we both exchanged it, and we said, and I said, you know what? Even though I did not expect you to do it, but I'm forgiving you now, down, in case you do it.
For that thing that you cannot forgive.
Yes. We have to get to that point where we know
and you just said that, or you meant it?
I meant it. And
there's no how you can even mean it, because until the thing happens, that's the thing about human beings. Yes, you really can't.
But forgiveness is not about the issue. That is what you call forgive. You give it beforehand. You give the pardon before the sin is committed.
I hear you.
So that you free your mind. I've just imagined it. And I try to say, okay. I know it will be much more painful than my imagination. But Lord, give me grace to be. Not that I would just say, if it happens, that I just say, okay, I forgive. I will still, but I'll be able to still remember that this is my vow. This is what I said to this lady. And the same thing she did to me. So, and that is the reason why, thank God we've not been able to get to that point, and we will not get to that point in Jesus' name. But it's easier for both of us to do that. Shakara ourselves and say, no, just move on again without having to. It's because we've been able to talk about all those things. That's why I said that if you get it right from the beginning, don't let me make adverts. I will have made adverts that Getting It Right is a book that is coming out very soon from me.
Yeah, you have already edited it. You have said it. Getting It Right. You all need to get that book. Even somebody that is looking at me behind the camera, he really needs that book. Okay, if I said we should continue, we just sleep here today, So
Yes, so.
maybe you should put in the comment section if you want to have him next time, so that we can come and continue this conversation, because this conversation, there are still some things I want to ask, but time is fast spent and we need to go. So let us have your comments in the comment section. What do you think about this video? Like this video, share this video to your friends, to those your girlfriends, those your friends, the male friends that like to carry one testing microphone 1 2 3.
I like to drink pure water and bottled water
Yeah,
and Eva water
1 liter of Eva water. Please share this video to them, and make sure you subscribe so that you get notifications when we come with part 2, so that you don't miss it. And follow us on all our social media handles. Check our bio, you see our handles there. Follow us, like this video, share. And we'll see you next time. Thank you for coming, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed myself.
Me too.
Thank you.
Put in the comment section that you enjoyed this video, so that you can come next time. See ya. Bye-bye. Bye.